I can hear you good. So tell me, how's your new place?
Oh, I absolutely love it. Oh my gosh. It is number one, far away from the city. And so there's green trees and lush and everything everywhere. But number two, it's literally like a little Mexico. I had
Is
no
it?
idea. Yes, they have like cowboy stores and like everywhere you go, it's all we have like a million Mexican restaurants, like three bakeries. This is a tiny little town. It has three Mexican bakeries. That's when I knew that I was in
Wow.
my town.
Little Mexico. Now where are you now? So folks will know, where did you move from and where did you move to?
So I was in Los Angeles, which is in, down in the city. And now I'm an hour and a half to 2 hours away in Ventura County in a small town called Santa Paula.
Santa
It
Paula.
is east of Oxnard.
Oh, okay. Okay. Wow. And the girls are loving it?
Oh, they absolutely love it here. Yeah. They love the house. This is a really old house and it was built um, really great. It has big, huge bedrooms, and then inside each, there's two bedrooms, and then in each inside there's restrooms, but there's a huge hall between them. And they just love to run up and down that hallway. Oh my gosh. And the living room is humongous too. And their room is the same. It's huge. They have a
It's
huge
huge.
room. So
It's
they're super
huge.
stoked.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
That's so good. That's so good. Well, I'm going to let folks know this is a re-recording, so to speak, because we had a problem with audio, and we're praying that we don't have. We're doing all kinds of things, hoping that we do not have problems with audio this time. Yeah, fingers crossed, legs crossed, everything crossed. Um, so I think maybe what
Crossed
I know.
and holding mudras.
Maybe what we can at least do is start with, you let people know. Oh, I know. Good. A good thought is when we connected, how we connected, and then we'll go from there and talk a little bit about your yoga story and all that kind of good stuff and what you're up to now. Because I know you're up to way more than yoga in the asana sense.
Yeah. Wait, I mean, it's all just become one thing. So yeah.
Yes. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, so we actually connected on Instagram, and I was living in the mountains where there was no one else that was kind of like into yoga, um, that I resonated with. Like in the I had just moved up to the mountain, so I had this yoga community, but I was very new to it, so I was very, you know, apprehensive, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
And so when I found your yoga page and that you were doing yoga and you were a woman of color, you were a Black woman, you were an older Black woman doing yoga, I was like, oh my, this is the Lord right here. This is God right here. God is talking. Are you paying attention?
Are you paying attention?
And yeah, are you paying attention? Because I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just devour all of her feet, like everything, all I can do, all of it. I absolutely loved it. And we connected on Instagram, and you had such a powerful impact on me and my soul and my heart that
Aw.
when we had the yoga festival, I knew, and it was going to be an inclusive yoga festival, I knew that you had to be there. Like I just knew. I knew. And you were top notch, like probably you were the first person that I reached out to, like immediately when I was given the go. Like, yeah, we're gonna do this. I was like, I gotta hit up Sharon. Like stat.
Even though I'm like a gabillion miles away, yes, that was the big bear. It's so pandemic has just messed everything up because I was so looking forward to coming back last October. That would have been last October. Gosh, time is flying, right? In a
Yeah.
sense. But what an amazing experience that was for me to come from Spain and go there, just so everybody knows we had other stuff that we were doing and coming back to the States, although I wasn't going to be flying out to California. And that was the flight from hell. Who knew? It was just, yeah, I'm too old for that. Next time I'm going to have to take a little, uh, uh, a day or two in between to adjust before flying from Spain to Miami, Miami to California, and getting in really late at whatever day that was, because it would have been the next day. Nonetheless, to come to that festival and see all the diversity, and first of all, it's just gorgeous. You used to live up there, right? In Big Bear.
Yes,
Just
yes.
just breathtakingly beautiful. And I don't think I've ever been to, it's not even, I don't think, I know I have never been to anything yoga related that had that much diversity. Either you go to something and it looks like a whole lot of people of color with no white folks, or you go to something and there's a whole lot of white folks with no people of color. And this was so blended. It was just like, oh, I love it here. Not to mention that the vegan chili was really good. I still talk about that chili that we had. It was so good.
You cut out for a little bit.
Yeah, I was just saying that I love that chili that was there. It says it's unstable, so the connection's a little unstable. Um, but people will deal with the fact that there'll be like little missing clips, but that's okay. We'll fill in the blanks. I'll fill it in. So it was really great that we had an opportunity to do that. So now you've been doing yoga for how long?
Since 2008.
Mm,
So 12 years, about 12 years, yeah,
yeah,
12,
about 12
13
years.
years now, 13
Yeah,
years, 13 years, wow.
I know.
I don't think about it, but yeah.
Yeah. And how did you get started?
I fell at work. In 2006, I had an injury. I was working full-time corporate and it was raining. I walked from my car to work to the door. I slipped, I fell, I incurred a herniated disc. I
Mm.
went to a back specialist who told me that it was really, really big for a woman and recommended that in 2006 now, they recommended I walk, swim, and do yoga
Oh,
because he said
wow.
the back specialist said he knew of people who had actually put the herniation back in place with yoga.
Wow.
And yeah, I was like, oh, I didn't know anything about yoga. And I was like, yeah, that's not going to be happening here. So, little did I know, little did she know. Um, so I started swimming at the YMCA, and within 2 years, through the divine universe, the magic of, the universe and God, I was managing a yoga studio
Mhm.
in West LA. It was called Dancing Shiva Yoga and Ayurveda, and it was managed and still is managed by this amazing teacher named Mas Vidal, who is Cuban. Out of
Oh,
all of the teachers, I ended up coming to a Cuban teacher, which
unbelievable.
yeah, I give so much thanks because in 2008, it was very, very limited amount of teachers available. But not only that, he wasn't a regular teacher. He infused yoga and Ayurveda and made it into an integral practice to be taught together. And he also taught the program, the yoga teacher program, as one, yoga and Ayurveda, which is even now, I think it's really rare to find yoga teacher trainings that bridge
I'll
both.
say. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was doing it back in 2008. So I was very blessed. Like I'm telling you, this whole path, I really truly believe that my path was it was just like God's hand was
Ordained.
just,
Yeah.
it was
Exactly.
ordained.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And the thing is that we each incur many injuries throughout our entire life, and that is the one thing that I can say is I feel blessed to have the herniation. Like I feel blessed to have had that accident, and I feel blessed that I still have it because that's my motivator to
Mhm.
continue to practice yoga, because I
Mhm.
can feel the difference when I do practice yoga and when I don't practice yoga. or when I'm eating healthy and I'm not eating healthy.
It's
Like I
true,
can feel
right?
it become inflamed. It's so sensitive. And so because of that injury, I've been able to use this knowledge, this ancient knowledge, to really have a joy-filled life and pain-free
Yeah,
from an injury that is really, it's a chronic injury. It's forever, it's a chronic illness and it's
right.
unseen. Nobody sees it. So, you know, sometimes I see those memes, that they're like, you can't see my illness. And I don't think I've ever even considered it an illness.
Mm, mm,
Um, but I've definitely never even considered it something that I hide. Like, I don't feel like it's hidden because I don't feel like it hinders me
right.
because of yoga and Ayurveda.
And it
Yeah.
can be so debilitating. And I think that that's a lot of people are not aware of how yoga can really assist and align things in your body, not just in your body, your mind and your spirit, I guess. It's a very aligning, I don't want to practice. I almost said tool, but in some way it is a tool, but it is a very aligning practice. And over time, I think even for me, I have found myself make shifts, whether it's about how I eat, or not doing yoga for me on a particular day is like, well, it's part of my addictive personality, I think. It's like, oh God, you didn't brush your teeth. you know? It's like, oh no, I'm so out of sorts. And it happens because sometimes it's travel or whatever, and if I say to myself, all you gotta do is 5 minutes. If you're just doing down dog legs up the wall and a couple of twists, I'm good. Long as I do something, you know?
Yes. Even like I feel that way about my breath because I'm big on pranayam. I
Hmm.
feel that like
True.
even if I take like even for me, I can't just do 3 breaths. Like I have to sit and do a time. Like even if I sit for 10 minutes and just consciously breathe for even
Yes.
10 minutes out of 24 hours,
Right. Right.
it's like 10 minutes, but it's so hard to do. First and foremost, when I first started meditating, they were like, just empty your mind. And I was like, what does that mean?
That's not possible.
Like I used to hear all of these different things in yoga and I would be like, what, like, how are you supposed to do? Like, I would literally like my mind would just question, the ego would question everything.
Yeah.
Then when I finally started to reap the benefits of pranayam,
Hmm.
that's when I became addicted to it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, this is it. And it's interesting that you say that yoga really hits different aspects because the first time that I practiced, it took me a long time to take a yoga class when I
Hmm.
started managing the studio because it was very intimidating.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's the word. That's the key word.
Hmm. Sure.
Um, and so the first time I took a class, I sat in the back of the class and I painstakingly moved through these poses because my back injury was really, really bad at that time. And I mean, it wasn't like it was when I first incurred it, but it was still giving me pain to the point where I hadn't slept, like I wasn't sleeping through the night
Yeah.
because, I was stiff and I had pain and I used to get up and roll out of bed. I couldn't just like get up and get going. It took me a while to get out of bed. So
Hmm.
the first class I ever took, while I was in class, it was painful.
Wow. Yeah. Oh.
I woke up at 5 and I saw light and I was like, oh my goodness, I
Wow.
slept all night long. That was a
Wow.
first since my injury. So that was like 2 years.
Wow.
And I woke up pain free.
See, that's the thing. That's the ticket.
I didn't have any pain. And I have chills now just thinking about it, but I knew, like I was like, this is it. This is it. I just have to keep doing this and I'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
because my dad is in a wheelchair, and that is like the ultimate thing. Like, that's the one trauma. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to end up in a wheelchair kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. It was like, this is it. This is how I'm going to be able to continue to be healthy for the rest of my life
Right.
and live with this herniation. Like, this is it. This is it. This is the key. This is the solution. I just have to keep doing this.
Just keep doing
And that's all.
this.
Just keep doing this. Just keep doing this. Just keep doing
That should be a shirt. Just keep doing this, and then you spell yoga
this.
down the bottom. Just keep and plenty.
Ooh,
Yes.
nobody should take that idea. Let's do it.
Yeah, I know, right? Just keep
Yeah,
doing
because
this.
just keep doing this, and like just in a yoga pose, because it's really, I tell people all the time, it's what saved my life.
Mm.
And yoga was the first practice that I learned, and I learned it with Ayurveda because of the teacher that I had. Like, I was very blessed in that sense. But also, he used to host an actual academy, an Ayurveda academy that held classes there. They used to hold their programs there.
No
And I was,
kidding.
yeah, I'm telling you, ordained. Just
Well, tell
that's the
people
purpose.
what Ayurveda is, because there may be some folks who are clueless as to what it
Oh,
is.
so Ayurveda is the ancient science and it's a healing science out of the East, out of India. And it's 5,000 years old. It comes from the Vedas, which are ancient scripture books. And it's a all encompassing healing modality. And it is everything from psychology to what's it called? Like when you get pregnant?
Obstetrics. Obstetrics.
Obstetrics. Yeah.
Yes, that word.
To like surgery, to the whole 9 yards. And what it's a very complex system, but really all the basis of it is to tune us back into nature.
Mhm.
And it teaches us that we are all part of the 5 elements, and
Mhm.
that we all use the 5 elements, and how to flow with all of the 5 elements. It's a pretty interesting I mean,
Yeah,
it's
really.
a lot more complex than that, but for example, I will say that like everything, including our bodies, holds the 5 elements, and so each person is predominant in one or two of the elements,
Mhm.
and depending on what those are, depends on the qualities that are inherent to you and your body. So for example, me, I am a water and earth body type. I'm kapha.
Mhm.
And if you think of water and earth, it's cold, it's heavy, and it's slow.
Mhm.
And that's pretty much how I really am and have always been. Like, I'm cold right now. My fingertips are cold, even though I'm drinking tea and I'm all warm and everything.
Yeah, right.
It's just something natural. And so what Ayurveda says is that because I am naturally cold, I should always try to look for things that are warm.
I see.
Yeah. So warm drinks, warm clothes, warm thoughts.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Interesting.
because I'm heavy, I need to look for things that are light. So like light foods, and foods also have elements. So it's important to know what foods have what elements. And
Yeah.
that's what I learned in my certification. So that's what I focus on, is how to help people Ayurvedically get to their dharma.
Ah. So I'm sitting here thinking, I wonder what I am.
Yeah, I'll send you. I have a free dosha test. I offer a free dosha test. I'll send you the link, and then you can provide it to everyone for them to also access if you want.
Oh, okay. That'd be great.
Yeah, yeah, because it's really fun. It's a fun way to get to know yourself.
Yeah, it would be interesting. I'm sitting here going, well, a lot of times my extremities are chilly, but I am always warm, I think.
Yeah,
But I can't
and
really say that I'm always warm. I don't know. Yes, I would be very interested.
well, I'm gonna throw out an assumption here. So when you take your test, you can confirm or not. But I think that you're predominant. You might be Pitta Kapha, I think.
Which would be
Fiery and then earth.
uh,
Fire, water, and then earth and water. Pittas are the so pittas are the leaders, the visionaries. They're the
Ah.
ones who they love competition. They're all about order. They have a list, like a to-do list, and their to-do list has a to-do list. And they can take a concept and see the beginning all the way to the end of an idea, because they're just that transformative. They're fire. They are always consuming. They are always processing. They're
Uh,
always, there's
always.
always, yeah, always, always, always. And so the issue becomes, because pittas are so fiery, that they tend to burn out. So
Mm,
that's just what we always say. And the other thing is that pittas give 110%, always, no matter what,
mm.
at all times. So I always tell my pitta people, like, give 80%, because your 80% is everyone else's 100. Like, that's what it boils down to. But it's so hard because they can't stop.
Uh,
It's like
you gotta feel
there's
it. You gotta feel it. That's fascinating. Okay, we're definitely gonna do this, and then we'll have to come back and do another one. It would be interesting. I think we may have talked about this a little bit before, but um, I, I would love to be able to do something where it's live and people can ask questions and dialogue.
oh yeah, let's do
You
a
know,
Q&A. That's
yeah,
fun. Yes.
that would be so
Yeah.
good because it really helps in for a number of reasons and a number of ways. People have a narrow view of, well, that's because of the way, how do I put this and not seem real negative about it? It's the way that media puts out who are yogis, who are people that do Ayurveda, who are people who do sound baths, who are people, and they don't look like us because of the way
Right.
media puts it out there, right? So
Right.
doing something where there's a Q&A and people, with a knowledgeable person and people can ask questions, and just by virtue of being there, it expands people's horizons. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it doesn't take a whole lot of discussion to change someone's purview about, oh, I mean, they may catch themselves and go, oh, wait a minute, you Mexicana, you do that. No kidding.
Right.
They may not say it
And you've
outwardly.
been doing it for how many years? That's the other thing I get. Like, you've been doing it for how long? Like,
Right,
yeah, I've been
right.
doing it for a long time, because I felt like I had no choice,
Yeah.
because it really was a health matter. Had I not fallen, and honestly, this is really, really true on my path. I always say, before I fell, I remember clearly hearing a voice in my head saying, when are you going to start giving your time to God? And I
Uh,
clearly remember saying, oh, I'm not ready to give up the world.
yeah.
And I'm not ready to commit myself to God, because that is a full-blown commitment. Like, you can't just be wishy-washy about that.
No,
Can't just be
no.
like one little bit, stick your toe in, and no, you gotta jump in.
Right, right.
Clearly remember being like, I'm
Mm,
not ready for that.
mm.
And then boom, it was like, boom, okay,
Boom.
bitch, fall.
Yeah.
No.
Now what you gonna say?
Now what? You thought you was in control?
Guess what? No. That's hysterical.
Yeah.
Oh, I've had those moments. I've
Yeah.
had those. I've definitely had those moments. Now, share a little bit about you. You're also do Reiki, and there's so much. We got a whole lot of episodes we can do here. But share a little bit about your
Yes.
Reiki practice, and I know that you're um, really have a lot that you send Reiki, and I'm always receiving. I know we are both Reiki folks and Reiki masters, but you send on Instagram and you're utilizing all kinds of media to get it out there. But share a little bit about that.
So Reiki is a hands-on healing modality that comes from Japan. Uh, I practice under the Usui lineage, and just a brief note that Dr. Usui was given this healing modality after a meditation.
Right.
Most of these practices that are received, and I'm sure you can attest to this too, that you've received your own meditations, that these are practices that are handed down or passed down energetically or
Exactly.
vibrationally, and they are for us to use. And then once we have healed, we can then show others so that they can also in turn heal themselves. Because each of us is a healer. Inherently, we are all healers. We
Absolutely.
all come in as a healer. So what a healer actually does is we help you, or we help person step into their own healing path,
Right.
shoes, so to speak. And that is exactly what Reiki does. And uh, what happens is that, so the first step is you lay on this table, or it could be anywhere really. You just lay down or sit, whatever your preference is. And then the healer comes around and we lay hands on you. We have been attuned with certain symbols and also experiences
Mm.
that we have gone through in order to transcend our own internal
Mm.
shadows, but really it's just one shadow. It's just little mini shadows of one big shadow.
Right.
And so once we've transcended those shadows, again, it's like we've walked this path, and this is the way that we did it. And so if you want to try it this way, you can, but eventually you will have to walk the paths, because
Right.
that's really why we're here. That's the whole point of being here, is to get on that path and then reach self-realization,
Right.
and then fully understand, like, oh, I see now. Okay, so we have to just awaken more people into self-realization so they
Mm.
can also be as compassionate, not only to others, but especially to themselves, because
Selves.
I think that's the biggest thing that's missing, is like self-compassion and self-acceptance and
Mm.
self-love, because we have, like you said, all of these things coming at us that tell us so many different things, and we've been taught to listen to them.
Right. Absolutely.
Nobody ever teaches you, like, no, don't listen to them, listen to yourself.
Exactly. How do you tap that internal peace? Like you said, you can heal yourself. And I know for a lot of people who are unfamiliar with the idea of Reiki, and sometimes people will ask, well, what is Reiki? And I'll just ask, well, what is your religious background? Sometimes I'll just ask that. They may say, well, I'm Christian or whatever. And I've said, well, has anyone ever oiled you or laid hands on you in any way?
Well, here's I don't want to cut you off, but I got this really good download one time about that same thing, because, I grew up Catholic. So I have a
Yeah.
lot of people who would ask me, and the download that I got was, Jesus healed a woman with his cape. If that's not Reiki, I don't
Right.
know what is.
Hello. That's a good
And
one.
he would put hands on people and heal them. Like,
Heal
that's
them.
what Reiki is. It is
That's
in the
right.
Bible. I mean, I don't really put it that bluntly to people when I'm speaking to them, because it is a delicate situation, but
Sure.
I like to use that one, like, well, that woman touched his cape and was healed.
Right.
How do you explain that?
Right. And I
He didn't
think
even touch her.
in every religious philosophy, there are those messages, those, as you say, downloads, those messages about the use of spirit and things that you don't necessarily see, that are intangible, right?
Yeah.
That heal, that it's a whole boy, that's a whole nother discussion we could have. It's a
Yeah.
deep discussion to have, because people
Yes.
have to be open and not closed to the concept, like, oh, listeners, these two crazy women up here talking about laying on hands and healing people, and and it's like,
But it
yeah,
works.
it works.
But it works. It works. And I like to say, like, I don't believe in anything that I have not tried for myself. And that's
Hello.
100%. Like, I don't believe in anything that did
Exactly.
not help me, that
Right.
has not helped me, that has not made my life better, or has made the people that I love, better. And the one thing that I really definitely love about Reiki is that it allows people to just relax.
Right. Right.
Like
And they have the
none, no matter
experience,
what.
no matter
Yeah,
what.
because
And they'll
your body,
go, "Wait, wait." And I'll just go, "Okay, drink a lot of water, do whatever, relax." And the next day they'll go, "Whoa, well, wait a minute." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know, right?"
yes. Because think about it, how often do we give ourselves the chance to just
Right.
relax
Right. Right.
and just be? Because that's really where true healing occurs, is when we are in our most relaxed state,
Absolutely.
like sleep. That's why when we sleep, our body is regenerating.
Regenerating and rejuvenating. Absolutely, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else that you would like to share with everybody? I know I don't want to keep you. Your day is just beginning. Um, what time
Yes,
is
I
it there?
do. The one thing we did not, the one thing we didn't talk about was that I also specialize in essential oils.
Oh,
Woohoo!
yes, that's right. We didn't talk
Yeah.
about that. Yeah, please share.
So I am bridging the gap between Ayurveda and essential oils, and I am teaching how to use these to pacify and fortify the self through the scent, like through scents.
Mm,
Smell is directly connected to our root chakra. And so
sure.
and it's also healing the subtle energies within us, because it is through air that we smell. And air has the capacity to permeate all cells,
That's
no
right.
matter what,
That's
right? As
right.
we inhale, you're inhaling air, it's permeating
Exactly.
all of your cells. And so, um, what I am doing, I'm doing every first Wednesday of the month, I'm giving a Instagram live
Oh,
every first Wednesday of every month. I'm doing an IG live about Ayurveda and essential oils and how they go together.
oh,
So
good.
just wanted to throw that out there.
No, I'm glad you did. But what time do you do that? Oh, but you record it and have it so people can connect to it, though, right?
Yes, it's at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Okay.
Um, and then, you know what I was thinking, right? You totally inspired me. Maybe I was actually also doing a Wednesday, like work with me Wednesday kind of thing, where you ask me Q&A day on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
But I really want to do that Ayurveda Q&A live with you. I want to do that for sure.
Yeah, we definitely have to do that because there's just so many people, and I'm trying to play around with what would work best, whether it's Instagram, whether it's YouTube, maybe it's both. I don't know, but you can record and you can always have it. But I think in the moment when you can have someone that's there, and maybe it's more of a registering thing, people register to attend just so that you know that
Mhm.
people are going to be there, and you do a big Zoom because
Oh, that's a good idea.
I could do a big Zoom like that and then record it and we do it
Mhm.
that way. That might make more sense. Okay, I'm going to work on that. I'm already working on
Yeah.
I'm already working on it. Well, I so appreciate you taking the time, and we're going to look forward to doing this all again with all kinds of little
Yes.
sprinklings I already have. See, I must be some kind of fire because I can already see all these little separate mini things, mini and mini things that we can do that sort of make those connections with folks in a way that they can then see us in those places and spaces.
Yeah, absolutely. And learn. That way you get to learn about yourself for
For
sure. Like
sure.
that's the goal. I think every healer's goal is to just help others
Right.
empower themselves into their healing. That's the goal. So, I do record those IG lives. I just started in January, and they are available at my Unfolding the Lotus website.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Unfolding. So I'll make sure that below I write everything out so people know how to connect with you and get all that kind of information. Let's build and support one another. That's what we're all
Yeah,
about. Absolutely.
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 And then I'll send you the dosha quiz that you can take, because I'm curious. I'm usually not wrong about what people are.
Yeah, you're probably
Um,
not wrong. You're probably
but I'm
absolutely.
curious,
Yes. So am I.
because it's a great. That's what makes it a powerful science, because this is knowledge that I've just taken, and then I just put it to use. I apply it,
Right.
and this is
Right.
how, and that's it. It's just that knowledge. It's that, it's beautiful. as you can see, I love it.
I do. I do. I do. Well, thank you, sweetheart. Love to your babies, and hopefully we'll get to see each other physically again soon.
Yes, for sure. I'm
All right.
counting on it.
I am
Yes. Love
too.
you.
All right.
Mwah.
Love you.
Okay.
Take care.
Love you.
Bye
All right.
now.
Bye.
Oops. Oh, that was Liz. And thank you very much for listening and being with us as she shared so much. Can you imagine? We could have at least 4 or 5 separate discussions. So let me know below if you'd be interested in a Zoom live or some other format where we can talk about Ayurveda, we can talk about pranayam, a lot of the things that she talked about, and of course, Reiki. Thanks again. Please like this video. Please subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Bye.